Life After Sunday, a podcast by dudes, for dudes, where faith meets the real world. For Eric Duval and Mike Norman, I'm Chris Boren. Let's go.
What is up, gentlemen?
Good afternoon.
See, Mike, it can never be. You're so inconsistent with your welcomes.
I know.
One week you're like, "What's up?" And the next week you're like, "Good afternoon,
gentlemen."
I waited a second to let him go because I thought he was going to have some sort of new positive, thing. But nope. He's right back to.
I'm like John Calipari when he does the hog call. He just barely gets into it, man.
Yeah.
That's like me. I mean, you could tell it was painful for him to do that hog call, man.
He's getting better at it, though. He's getting better.
Yeah, he'll come around.
There was one on
I don't care if he never does it again, as long as he wins ball games.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
Absolutely true.
Speaking of hogs, the baseball team got a road victory this weekend. Went 2 out of 3 in South Carolina.
Let's
no matter
go.
how good you think South Carolina is, it's always tough to win on the road in SEC play.
That's right.
Talk to me, Duval.
Man, was that not great, dude? They did what they've been doing all year, man. They gut out a low-scoring ball game on Friday. Hagen Smith is Hagen Smith. 11 freaking strikeouts now. That's, I think, 100 Ks in 52 innings. Dude, what in the world's happening there? I just love it, man, watching that dude pitch. But again, they scrounge out a one-run ball game. What was the score Friday night, Chris?
2-1. 2-1.
2-1. There you go. Doing what we do. Driving us mad with runners in scoring position. Can't seem to bring them home, but we win the ball game.
The ball game. Let me ask you this: Do you think that teams are gonna start? This is like the second or third time we've seen it where a team moves their Friday night starter to the Saturday game. Do you think that's going to become a trend with teams as they face the Hogs with Hagen Smith on Friday night?
Man, I don't know. I didn't want to say yes, but now I'm wondering after it happened again this weekend. But you know what? Here's the thing. I thought about that. I'm not sure that it really matters.
Well, I'd say, what does it do? How's that?
They won the second game, though. They won the second game.
They did, but we had tons of chances against that dude, and we missed them. We'll talk about that later. Mike, I'm thinking, I'm assuming maybe they're putting all their eggs, because they're kind of waving white flag, so to speak, against Hagen.
Okay.
Theoretically, okay? Saying, all right, Hagen's too good. Even with our guy being really good, Hagen's just too good.
Oh, yeah.
Hagen's going to beat us. But if we throw our guy, our big stud in game 2, we can win game 2. That gives us the chance to win the series in game 3. Okay?
Okay.
But what I think is happening, okay? Dude, our pitching, I've never seen a staff this deep. Okay? And it's not just deep. They're all super talented and have super nasty stuff. And if some of them are off, like Big Mac has been off the last week and a half or so. He's just not been sharp, not been as good, but it doesn't matter. They can go get somebody else. They'll go get Gage Wood. Look at Gage Wood, or even Parker Cole, who we've been on a little bit. My boy Fletch, he's listening. He's been on him a little bit. He made some. He got some nice outs yesterday.
Who? Parker Coyle?
Yeah.
He came in a tough spot and did some damage.
Yeah. Dude, we have so many pitchers with such good stuff, that when it gets to, if you can just get there, we talked about this before, if you can just get to Omaha, that pitching staff, that plays so nicely to Omaha. I just keep going back to the format of the College World Series. You know, the 2 14 brackets, right? Where if you happen to get beat and you go into a loser's bracket, you better have tons of pitching to be able to get out of it. We can do that. Like, I've not seen anybody else in the country so far this year that can do that. And so, you know, I don't know if you want to talk about the bats
bullpen
now.
in there. Look at South Carolina's bullpen in the second game yesterday. Terrible. They have no bullpen. It's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed in our hitting. But, yeah, our hitting does worry me a lot. When we face good pitching, we don't hit well at all. We got to shore that up. Got to quit swinging stuff in the dirt and watching strikes go by.
It's a tough spot, Chris and Mike, because it's frustrating. We can't get, like left field, for instance, you can't get that position solidified. And it's not that we're not hitting. It's we're not hitting at the right time.
You got Aloy taking a slider on the outside and trying to pull it to left field instead of poking it into right field and hitting it where it's pitched. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like we're trying to pull everything, and when that slider's coming on the outside of the plate, poke it into right field, and you got a base knock every time.
I'm not a hitting coach, and I'm not.
Me either.
It just seems to me like
I thought y'all both were. That's weird. News to me.
What is it?
I thought you were both hitting coaches. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We are when we're watching the game, Mike.
Right?
It just seems to me that it's frustrating that I feel like we take a lot of hittable pitches, and then it seems like we'll take strike one for a beautiful pitch, for instance, then we'll foul off strike two, and then bam, it's a fight. Now, give our kids credit; they will fight. They'll fight their way out of an 0-2 hole or a 1-2 hole, it seems like, all the time. And that's frustrating. And we can't seem to get the right kind of contact at the right time. You know?
The number of times we left the bases loaded was definitely concerning. And a couple of times we left them loaded with we had them loaded with one out and couldn't scratch across even a pop fly to the outfield to get a run.
Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here complaining about this, and we took the series on the road. You know, but we just keep finding a way. Like yesterday, man, it was good to see the bats exploded in game two. I mean, we scored 5 runs in an inning.
Against mediocre pitching, though.
Is it really?
I bring up that point. Yeah, I think so. I think South Carolina's bullpen's terrible. They were talking about it on the broadcast.
It's awful.
We get UAPB Tuesday night in Dickey Stevens in Little Rock.
I scored 20.
Yeah, we'll score 15.
The Florida Gators, baby, coming to Baum Walker this weekend.
When we face Florida, when we face Kentucky, we'll find out about our hitting. Then I think, for sure.
Yeah. I love this team, fellas. I'm telling you, if I do, we all agree hitting has to improve. Not a whole lot, though. It doesn't have to be 9 runs a game. No. Give me 4 or 5, and this team can win, dude. Because the pitching is that good.
I agree with you.
Well, we thought they were going to implode once they lost their first road series at Alabama. We thought they'd imploded. And then when they against Texas Tech, they were going, here it is, the bottom's dropping out. Then they come through, and then we lose to South Carolina in the second game. We're like, oh, here we go again. We're going to lose the series, and they just keep coming through and getting it done.
Yeah. And Dave over there in the dugout, I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know, he's not having a stroke all the time, but he's just as cool as can be. Nothing phases him and nothing phases his team. So I love him, man. I love
of Dave.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be right there at the end of the year, and that's all we can ask. And so it's going to be wild, but it ain't going to be easy. This team is not going to make it easy on us. So
hardest things in baseball. One thing, the hardest things in all of sports to make it to the College World Series, for sure.
Oh yeah, and then win it.
Yeah, and win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This team's loaded with talent, man. I'm riding. I'm riding to the end. Let's go.
Absolutely. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So we're doing a little bit of different episode today for our audience. We wanted you guys to provide some questions for us to answer, and we got some feedback on that. And since we're already talking about the Diamond Hogs, we'll roll right into our first question from Mr. Tracy Reinhardt. And he asked, will the Diamond Hogs win the Natty? Mike, go first.
I try to base my opinions in reality. No, they won't.
Is that a shot at me?
No.
I think that might be it.
Because until they get it done, I just cannot believe that they're going to do it, because we've seen this year after year after year. We're a top 5 team. We're going to go to the World Series. We go there, we make a little noise, and then we choke. And that's
this is
just
PTSD kicking in. This is Mike's PTSD coming through.
I just don't. I can't always believe that, this year's the year, because I've had it done. We've all had it done so many times. That just kind of a show me thing. I think they'll make a good run, but I'm worried that they're too hot at the front of the season and they're going to lose it at the back end like Tennessee did. Look, we've talked about that before. Kind of worried about the Tennessee effect.
Eric?
Okay. I think, first off, before I give my answer, this question would be way easier in basketball or football. You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying, even in football, especially football, but let's just say we had a great team in football, that answer is a lot easier. In baseball, you can be you can be incredible and still not win it. So many things go into it in baseball. I'm going to go ahead and say my answer is yes. This team, I just feel like this is the year that Dave breaks through and gets it done. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because
now Dave y'all keep going. I'll be off just for a second.
I see something in Dave this year that's different. I think Dave's pretty dang confident. And number 2, this pitching staff. Unlike hitting, where hitting can come and go, pitching stays, for the most part, stays pretty steady. It is what it is kind of thing. And this pitching staff is next level elite. And it's not just elite, it's deep. And so that right there, we talked about it in the opening there, will carry in Omaha. And so I feel like we're going to get to that final series, and you get down to a best 2 of 3. We've seen it time and time again with this team. They find a way to get it done, and the pitching will carry us. So, yes.
I'm going to say yes on my answer. I think this pitching staff is going to carry us far, but our bats are going to have to be better if we're going to win it all.
Fair enough.
We're going to have to hit better with runners in scoring position. Can't leave them stranded with 1 out and runners on second and third. You just can't do it in the tournament. You can't do it in Omaha. But I think they'll get it figured out, and I think they win the national championship.
I do.
Hogs by 90, baby.
That's right. Let's go. That's for you, Fletch. Fletch has been saying that all year.
Next question.
He called it after James Madison.
Natty. Next question, another one by our boy Tracy Reinhardt is, what is your favorite parable in the Bible and why? Eric?
Oh, it's the farmer and the seeds.
Parable of the sower.
Do what?
It's the parable of the sower.
There you go. Well, see how official that sounds? I like mine better. the farmer and the seeds. You know, I mean, the dude. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, he sprinkles the seeds all over the place, right? And the seed that falls on the footpath, the birds scoop it up. Nothing happens. They're gone, right? It's a waste, right? And then the seed that falls in the shallow soil sprouts up real fast, but then when the sun hits it, it's dead, right? It can't grow, it can't sustain, right? And then there's the one with the thorns, where the thorns choke it out, right? And then, but the seed that lands on the fertile soil, it produces 30, 60, I think, what did it say, 30, 60, or 100 times more than was put out. And I mean, that speaks to me, man, because that just sums up kind of my life. I've spread the seed. That sounds terrible. Spread my seed all over the place. That is not what I meant. But I had a good sermon going there until I said that. But anyway, but
what helped if you didn't have two juvenile-minded people with you?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's plenty of juvenile-minded folks listening too. But I apologize to all those who are not. That's just who we are. But no, that speaks to me, man. It's taken a long time to get that right, and I'm not saying I've got it right. I'm still working every day, but the seed right now, I'm planting seed in fertile soil, man, and I'm seeing returns from that. And so that's my favorite by far.
Mike,
you go first, because I know you're gonna have a good one. You're not gonna let us down.
Mine's actually the parable of the sower too. They say that if you can't understand the parable of the sower, you can't understand anything in the Bible. So you need to understand that first. And I'm going to take it a little different flip from what Eric did, because I think it's about seed being sown in your life. So do I have thorny soil? Do I have good soil? Or do I, is it a solid, hard ground? Nothing can penetrate my heart. Is my heart hard where the word doesn't penetrate? Is my heart full of sin and thorns and stuff where the word can't penetrate and produce in my life? Or is my heart soft and moldable like good soil where the word can penetrate and mold me into who I'm supposed to be in Christ? And so that is my favorite parable of the Bible.
I like it. Those are awesome. Those are that parable's awesome. Probably one of my favorites as well. But I like the parable of the two builders, Matthew 7:24 through 27. I had to look it up. I don't know it. But just about building your house, on solid ground, on rock, that it can weather storms. Of course, there's going to be a reference to a storm, and one that I like, of course. But I think that works in pretty much any situation that you discuss. Building your house on sand or building it on a rock. It just goes so far. It's such a great parable, very easy to understand. But yeah, that's my favorite.
If you don't build like on that foundation, and you don't have that foundation, that strong foundation, it's not even in that parable, but the word says you can be blown around by every wind of doctrine. So if you don't have that solid foundation, so we got to have that on the rock of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I like it.
See, of course it's got weather, and the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. It's great.
Let's go.
I like the weather.
See, our man Tracy, he didn't Tracy was a guest on our show. He's also our good friend. He didn't submit not one question, but the guy submitted 4 questions. Okay.
That's my dude, man. Yeah.
We need that.
Yes. So another question by Mr. Reinhardt is, who is your favorite Bible character and why? I'll go first on this one.
He'll say Jesus. That's what he's going to say.
No,
Yeah, the easy answer.
my favorite
Jesus.
my favorite Bible character is Mr. Paul. Because of the transformation that took place in his life. Dude was killing Christians. He was anti-Christian. And Jesus got a hold of him. Holy Spirit turned his life around. He wrote almost the whole New Testament, spread the gospel. It's just amazing. He is the ultimate, what's the word? The ultimate comeback story, I guess, in the New Testament. So he is my favorite Bible character. Mike.
Well, I was going to say Paul, but since you stole it, I can kind of go along the same lines and say maybe David, because David was a dirty, rotten man. He was a badass. And then, he ended up being the central figure in Israel. So, but Paul, technically speaking, would be my favorite just because he was the turd and he became the central figure in the Bible. And I kind of figure I used to be a turd, and I'm just trying to be a tenth of what Paul is, Eric.
I don't like either one of you.
We stole your thunder.
Yeah. Literally. I had two down here. I've got it right here on. I'm not just saying that. I've got it right here in my notes. Saul, Paul, where's number one for me. Thank you very much, Chris. And thank you very much, Chris, for saying it the way you always do, which is so well spoken. So now no matter what I say, I'm going to look like more of an idiot than I already am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll get to you in a minute.
True.
Saul and Paul, dude, exactly what Chris said. The dude was terrible, and then look what he went on to do. We're going through, right now, Philippians at church, and Paul's, they throw him in prison. He's like, no big deal. I needed to write a letter anyway. And so the letter he writes, dude, those letters, wow, amazing. So that was going to be my number one choice. And then David, thank you, Mike, was my number two choice. Again, because I can relate, and I think the Bible's full of dudes like that. Who
no perfect dudes. No perfect dudes.
Exactly. And that's why I kind of relate to those guys. Haven't killed anybody, but I've done my fair share of crap and was a turd.
I thought you were going to say Moses because you're old.
Moses.
You're the oldest one here.
Well, I did. I'm like 6 minutes older than you.
I know, but the facts don't matter.
Hey, you're still older, though.
You're still older.
I hate all y'all. I do. I can't stand y'all. You take my dudes, and then you say my guy. Okay, so fine, Moses. No, it is. It's y'all's two answers, and there's no way I can sum it up better than y'all did because y'all speak way better than I do.
That's not true.
I do. I relate to those guys. And what examples? I think what God can do. Take dudes who are turds, as Mike said, or badasses, or what, and turn them into exactly what God needs for the kingdom of heaven. And so I admire those dudes.
Just imagine you're Paul and you're rolling down this. That you're just walking down this dirt road, and way back then, and you just killed somebody back there, a Christian, and all of a sudden this thing appears, and like you're blind and you can't see, and next thing you know, they take you to your friend, and it just blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah,
I like how they changed his name too. You know what, Saul? Yeah. That sounds like crap. How about let's change that S to a P. Now you're going to be Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
My number two guy would have to be Peter, I think.
Okay.
He had kind of some anger issues, and, he was always ready to fight somebody. And he denied Jesus even after following him, you know, and the only difference between Peter and like Judas was Judas didn't repent and Peter did. You know, Judas killed himself and Peter asked for repentance after he denied him. So that'd be my number 2.
It's a good one. I'd be interested to hear, like, in the comments on our show or what everybody else's answers to all these questions are.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
What their thoughts are on this stuff. So feel free to, drop those where you're listening or whatever, because I'd love to know.
And Tracy's final question is, what is your favorite city to visit? And I bet we all have different answers on this one. And I bet Mike's is H-Town.
Downtown Houston for Mike all day.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like visiting the armpit of the United States. Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
You have the floor.
No, yeah. So because I spent so much time in that big city and that big county with all those people, I really don't want to visit anywhere. I just want to stay right up here on my little mountaintop. But with that said, probably my favorite place to have visited so far is a toss-up between San Diego or going up and seeing Mount St. Helens and getting to tour the Boeing plant, Seattle, like Washington and all that area, aside from their politics and the weirdos who live there. The area is just absolutely breathtaking gorgeous, from seeing Mount Hood, Mount Helens. And then you go over the mountains on the east, there's a desert. And you go to the left, right as it approaches the water, kind of turns into like a little tropical rainforest. The water's ice cold. Just beautiful, beautiful place to visit. San Diego's beautiful too. The weather's like 65 degrees year round. So go there in August when you're dying from heat here. When you get off the plane in San Diego, it'll take your breath away. It's so awesome the way it feels.
That's cool.
What y'all?
Am I going to go last again, Chris? You're going to take my answer.
No, I'm not. You're next.
I knew
go ahead, sir.
Because I know Mike well enough. Mike wouldn't even want to go where I want to go. So my answer is kind of it's an area, not a city. The Florida Keys are hands down my favorite place I've ever been. You start there from about Key Largo on down. It's just a collection of little communities that the vibe and of course the natural beauty around it's just unmatched. And there's all these little, I've done it a couple of times where I've rented a car from Miami and drove down all through the Keys, all the way down to Key West. And those little communities, man, you'll drive through them and there'll be all these little open air markets. The community's all out and about. You can get these little roadside vendors making fresh seafood ceviche, just seafood salsa, just all this different stuff. And they're selling their wares like clothing. And again, it's just a vibe, man, of laid back, relaxed ocean. You guys know I love the ocean and the beach and that kind of thing. But it's quiet. It's peaceful. It's like living in Atkins or small town, except it's not in the country. It's by the ocean, from, like I said, from about Key Largo all the way down till you get to Key West. Now, Key West, I love it. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, it's turned into something that I don't like so much anymore, but the beauty's still there. It's a great place to visit, but I take it, I stopped just short of adding it into my favorite places list because of what it's turned into now. But the Florida Keys in general, that's my favorite spot.
Very well said, sir. I knew you would be somewhere beachy.
No Shoes Nation, baby.
My favorite place to visit, the favorite city would have to be Estes Park, Colorado. I probably would have said to the beach until I went there. And there's just something about the mountains, man. The Rocky Mountains are beautiful. The mountain life, a small little quaint town. I love it. The elk everywhere. It's right at the entryway of Rocky Mountain National Park. The stuff never gets old to me. So I'm headed to the mountains, gentlemen.
Nice.
I think once Colorado's on our list, now that we live closer to Colorado, I think that's probably going to be my favorite from the pictures I've seen, because it's like Arkansas on steroids, and then the little communities, instead of like, what we have here in the county, they've got that, they're made out of wood or cedar, and they just look beautiful. That'll probably be my favorite. I've been to the beach a lot, and the beach just doesn't do nothing for me, man. The sand. I mean, watching the water come in and hearing it lapping up is pretty cool, but I don't like the sand up in my butt crack. And then walking into the tower, freezing to death, like when you walk into your condo or whatever you got, and it's ice cold and they're coming in with sand and water on you. I'm out, man.
Picturing Mike, first of all, in a bathing suit, no shirt, out there, whitest dude on the entire.
No, I wear shirts, bro.
Legs blinding us. Got to put on sunglasses to look at Mike's legs.
No, listen, my little stork legs will be exposed, but I'll have on a shirt. This chest ain't seeing the sun. I'll get a 3rd-degree burn if the sun hits it.
I'm just picturing him again, trying to make the condo with all their crap after a day after he's mad already, and he's
mad.
The mad stork pulling sand out of my crack for 4 days. Like I get home and I throw something in the washer and there's like sand still in my pockets, everywhere. A lot of people love or hate the beach. That's good if we don't ever go back.
I do think Mike would like the Keys, not Key West. Mike, stay out of Key West. All right, because Angry Mike will come back really quick. Okay, so
no, don't want that.
Just the Keys, like again from Key Largo. Right before, I think Sugarloaf is the last one before Key West. Just stay in that little zone right there, and you would be happy. You don't have to get on the beach per se. There aren't any beaches really anywhere in the Keys. Okay. You're surrounded by tranquility and beauty and the bluest water. There's the 7 Mile Bridge too. I didn't mention that. You've got to try that at some point. I mean, literally, it is what it says it is. 7 miles of just water surrounding you everywhere.
No, I think that'd be nice. Yeah. I mean, hurricanes also kind of made me not like the water. All the hurricanes are a pain in the butt. But I could go chill out on the beach for a little while.
So you're not going to go with us to like Gulf Shores? Or Panama City.
Go to Colorado in August, get up in the mountains and enjoy some 60-degree air.
Dang it, Mike. I want to see you at the beach, man.
We might have to do that just so you can see it.
With it packed, Chris. Let's go.
You'll see all my stork friends show up. All the birds will be like, look, a human version of myself. Look at those big old knees. Bony knees.
And I guarantee
just like us.
We'd get all set up, and there'd probably be some group of folks that are jamming music real loud and smoking weed or something right next to us. And Mike,
yeah. No, we'd have to get a private beach. I can't do public crap, man. There'd be dirty diapers
boiling
out
over there, like.
Yep.
You can just see him boiling. Just
you don't like
people. Yeah, dirty diapers. Somebody smoking a cigarette. It would ruin it. It'd ruin it.
And you're trying to drag the wagon through the sand after you're already mad and you can't pull it because it's like it just doesn't work. So
no.
Hey, I'm telling you, that's a true story though. There is not a single happy father on the beach anywhere when they're on family vacation, because it's like a 12-hour workday for the dads. You have to get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, carry all that crap down to the beach, get it all set up to get a good spot, spend all day out there. When it's over, you have to load all that crap back up and haul it the 7 miles, like Mike said, back to your condo, covered in
That's
sand.
another reason I don't like it, because I'm, kind of a safety nut, and I can't relax. I can't get under the umbrella and relax because I'm, got to stay really close to Gracie. And at that time, Jacob, I don't want to be Peyton Hillis and having to swim out there and get smoked by, as I'm swimming out to save my kids. So I can't actually relax and enjoy the beach because I'm too worried about my kids. So that's probably another reason I don't care for it. Because it's what you said. Work. It's work. It's not. There's nothing. And plus, you look at your kid. You know how it is. You're on the beach, and your kid starts here, and all of a sudden they're going down the beach.
Yeah.
You have to go get them and bring them back, keep them in front of you because they just keep going down with the current. So yeah, it's work. It's like taking a kid to Disney. It's a job.
When we started on Disney, I hate that place.
It's a job, man.
Not being political, I'm talking about just taking a kid to Disney is the worst experience of all time.
Work.
Terrible.
Work. All right,
Mr. Rodney Rickett says, if you could pick one person in the Bible that your life compares with, who would it be?
I mean, it's
a tough one.
It's got to be. Isn't it Paul? I mean, I'm a piece of crap, and he's reformed, so it's probably the same answer as his favorite character. Then,
hands down, that's the answer to me. It's Paul all day.
Paul. I'm gonna go David.
That'd be second. Yeah,
because most of us I grew up in church. We all did. David had a call in his life from a young kid as a shepherd. Killed Goliath when he was young. God was with him.
Pretty cool.
And even in that time, he still failed. He still failed to lust. We all know the story, Bathsheba on the rooftop.
Yeah.
But even after all that, he's still known as the man after God's own heart. And even after he fell, and so I've fallen many times in my life to some of the same things he has fallen to, David had failed to. And I'm back up and I'm pushing on and pressing on and chasing after God. And so that's who I would say on Mr. Rodney's question.
Great answer, Chris. Very good answer. Dude, make me and Mike look bad, dude. You're good at this, man.
That's not true.
We heard him on the buzz this weekend, man. It was a pro.
My boy was on the radio. We hadn't even talked about that.
Look,
that was great.
I was more nervous before that than I have been in a very, very long time. Like, too nervous.
Well, they kept delaying. It made it worse.
Yeah. Once I got going, though, it was fine. But I was like, like you get so nervous you got to keep going to pee, and I had to pee and we were about to start, and I was like, what is happening? And
I was hoping you would say to what's his name, Justin Acri or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say, you know what, you're so bad at radio, you really ought to come join the department. Just to see what he'd say. Just to see, you know what, just let DJ take over your job. You're terrible at it. Come join the department and get you good retirement.
I actually kind of like Acri, so I can't bash him.
I'm not a fan. I mean, dude's way more educated and smarter than I am, and been doing it a lot long. I mean, that dude. But I don't like his style on the radio, and that's nothing personally. Not a shot personally at Acri. It's just
he's over the top and he's loud. And anyway.
Yeah.
So Rodney just had one question. Thank you, Rodney Rickett. Thank you, Tracy.
Hello, Rodney.
Little Rock Fire. What's up, baby?
Rock Fire. Next up is Mr. Jeremy Wilmoth. You guys know Jeremy?
Oh, Jeremy.
Saw him a couple of times this week.
Yeah, I just saw him yesterday.
So Jeremy, or like Tracy, Jeremy has several questions for us. First question is, in one episode, you all discussed praise and worship music. Praise and worship is what gets me going. Talking about Jeremy. What is your go-to song to get you going, or go-to, like, I guess, genre, music-wise? Or maybe talking about Christian song.
Well,
I'll start with that. I'll start with this. I go through phases, man. I go through a phase when I'm like listening to a lot of rock music. Then I go through a phase where I'm listening to like praise and worship music. I'm listening to rap music. So it's kind of whatever mode I'm in. If I'm at the gym, I'm listening to different music. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm kind of all over the map with my music. I came in the other day and I was singing like this country song. Carrie's like, "You in the country now?" And I'm like, "Well, she's like, and like when if I'm going to go to pray or go to really try to seek the Lord, I'm listening to something completely different, so I'm all over the place when it comes to music and praise and worship and any music and in general, really. I don't really know if I have a go-to song that gets me going. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I feel that, Chris. I know what you're saying there. I actually do have I don't know if you would call it praise and worship, but it is a Christian song that speaks to me. It's on every one of my playlists. I sent it to y'all the other day because it came on in the gym. And so I sent it to y'all because it hit me again. Every time I hear it, it hits me because of the lyrics. It's After the World from Disciple.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and listen to, they were doing an acoustic set and they tell the story of how they wrote the song, and it'll blow you away even more. But, so that After the World by Disciple, man, that gets me every time. And it's my go-to because I feel like it's kind of like I reflect on my life, I relate to it really well. It gets to me every time, and God speaks to me every time it comes on. As far as praise and worship in general, we've talked about this like on that episode. Praise and worship music is kind of hard for me to, and it's weird to connect. It takes a minute. I can't just sit there and listen to it and feel the Lord, so to speak, unless it's Crowder. Every single thing that dude sings speaks to me. I can feel the Lord every time. But as far as praise and worship goes, to me, it has to be old school Southern gospel for me, or old school like Oak Grove Free Will Baptist Church style. Johnny McCoy, Johnny Johnston, Jan, all that bunch singing to get me going when it's praise and worship music. So
I will say, man, that like old school praise and worship or like Southern gospel is like recently old hymns and stuff. They have been getting me all up in my feels.
Yes.
Every time I hear one song, I just want to bawl my eyeballs out.
Yep.
Yeah, no praise and worship like what you sing in church. There's nothing that stands out for me. Not a big singer, dude. Probably my favorite song on the radio right now is Crushing Snakes by Crowder. Try to turn the bass up as much as I can and crank it up, but it was just so good live, it just hooked me. And so that's probably what I've been playing the most of now, but it switches like y'all's do, depending on the mood I'm in. That's all I got.
Next question by Mr. Jeremy is, what is your favorite book in the Bible? Mike, you first.
What is it? Proverbs? Written as Solomon.
Yeah.
Tells us 2,000 years ago how to deal with women and, constant good advice. It literally, I think it should just maybe be made into like a little hardback book or a paperback book that every man needs to read about once a year just to keep himself centered and grounded, man.
That's good.
Great information from that man.
I'm all over that, Mike. Psalms. And I found here lately, I don't know how I stumbled across it, but someone said for dudes, go right away to the wisdom books. Start at Job, I think it was. And Chris, you may remember where it stops, but
I don't. All I remember is it starting with Job.
Yeah, it starts with Job, and even Job, not so much as Psalms and Proverbs for me. I'm a simple dude, and I have trouble comprehending sometimes. When I'm reading, I have to reread and reread. But when I get in Psalms and Proverbs, man, that actually just talks to me. It just leaps off the page at me because it's simple, man.
I'm going to go with Romans right now. That's what I'm reading in. The Bible says the word is alive, it's living. I think it's just a matter of what season somebody's going through, what book really kind of speaks to them or what they're into. Like I said, I'm reading Romans, and it's Paul. It's just the gospel. I mean, it's all about the gospel and that Jesus truly loves the sinner, and it's just so good. And we overcomplicate things all the time, but it all boils down to the gospel. That's what it all boils down to. And anyway, next question. Favorite hog ever?
Oh, gosh.
Only one chance. This is another question by Mr. Wilmoth. Easy for me too.
You go first.
Go first,
Eric,
then.
Guess mine.
No, you go first, Mr. Easy.
I want you to guess it. Try to guess mine.
Oh, guess yours?
Yeah. Don't you? You're already overthinking it way too hard. He's number two. You're thinking he's number two.
He's number two.
Don't overthink it.
Dave Van Horn.
No.
I'm out, dude.
The kid. The kid,
baby, 15. The low-note jackrabbit. Yeah. Casey Martin.
Casey Martin. Yes, Mr. Casey Martin. My favorite hog of all time. Kid was all hog. Arkansas kid. He was on my favorite team of all time, the 2018 Omaha Hogs. I don't know if I'll ever be as emotionally invested in this team as I was that team.
Yeah.
Even if this team wins it all, I just don't think I will be. I just don't know. But I was superly invested in that team, and Dom was number 2 on the list. We love you, Dom.
We love you, Dom. Yep.
Yeah. Mr. Casey Martin, shortstop, 2018 Diamond Hogs. Next.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Darren McFadden is, for me, just such an easy answer because I was at that age where, again, I was very emotionally connected to the team, the runs we were going on. It was the first time in the SEC where we could go up against powerhouses and you just felt like nobody could stop McFadden. And remember when he got 250 yards against LSU?
Yes.
It was just, even when I watched highlights of him, he was just so special. His speed, it was just so much state pride because you knew when we were on the national stage, he was going to show out. He was just going to do his thing. It was just, it was awesome. So Darren McFadden, a very easy answer for me.
Yeah.
Duval.
See, this is, dude, I don't even know where to, I think I have an answer, but it's not going to be anybody you think. But Mike, Darren McFadden, I mean, I felt that. I mean, that guy was all hog, man.
501.
Yeah, 501. Remember, we used to talk. Did you not get excited when he would do that, man?
Yeah, he loved this state.
We got that wood.
Yeah,
we got that wood.
Dude, when we went down to Baton Rouge with a team that struggled and had a lot of drama going on, but Darren and Peyton and Felix, the cat, put us all on their back, dude, and we beat the number 1 team in the country. Anyway, I'm going to get off on a different subject, but
hey, Felix, Peyton Hillis, stable, baby.
Dude, what a game, man. And LSU couldn't do nothing about it.
No.
It didn't matter if it took 27 overtime. We were going to win because those guys were not going to let us lose, dude. You know? You remember one quick thing on that game. Do you remember during that game when we handed it off to Hillis, the fullback, and dude, the hole was 7 miles wide, and he went like 60-something yards, dude.
Yeah.
And then later,
untouched.
Yeah. Later, McFadden threw a pass to him. A touchdown pass to Hillis. Dude.
Hey, Arkansas beautiful kids, man.
And Casey Dick's block on McFadden's 72-yard touchdown run. Casey Dick getting out. Anyway. But my answer is this. My answer is
you have to pick a player.
I am. I'm picking a player.
I didn't know him hawing around.
I'm not. Here it is. I'm picking a player, and you're gonna be like, why? It's a player who represents all these other players I want to talk about, but I can't. It's Carson Shaddy.
I knew it.
Carson Shaddy. A lot of people, and Tracy, I guarantee, is mad right now. Because that's
the guy who dropped the foul ball.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That kid. See, I knew it. I'm gonna tell you, Mike. I'd seen you walk away that fast today. We tried to get the drone, but anyway, Carson Shaddy, y'all believe, and God, I hope this kid hears this. He has inspired me like no other Razorback ever has. The kid. I mean, Brandon Burles was a similar story, but the kid came
again.
He walked on, dude. And he talks about it. I think, he got there and he's like, man, what am I doing? I'm over my head, But he worked his freaking butt off. And, dude, we don't get to the College World Series that year without Carson Shaddy. And I'll never forget the moment. There was a particular moment that year. All my hats are falling down here. You guys remember against South Carolina in the Super Regionals. Shaddy gets a hold of one. I think the bases were loaded. And I thought it was gone. He thought it was gone. But it wound up hitting off the bottom of the wall, scored all 3 runs in a game that wound up sending us to the Supers. I mean, to the College World Series. He pulls into second base. And when he lost his mind, dude, the emotion that he showed, that is me, that is Mike, that is you, Chris. He was us, dude. And that's why I love him, man, because he's just a regular dude who worked his butt off with a lifelong dream of being a Razorback, and he got to live it. And that's my favorite player. And he represents the Morgan brothers, Brandon Burlesworth, Darren McFadden, Matt Jones. I could go, dude, the list just goes on and on of Arkansas boys who bleed Razorback red. Those are my guys. But Carson Shaddy encapsulates all that for me because he's me.
I can remember me and you talking, Eric, that he had no business even being on the field.
Nope. But dude balled out that year, Mike, if you'll think about it, if you'll stop and try to forget the pop fly for a minute. And you know why he dropped that pop fly?
You can't forget.
You know why he dropped it? Because he was going 7,000 miles an hour with his Razorback heart, every bit of it, to try to make that play to win the national championship for Arkansas because he loved it that much. It just so happened, it was too much. I think he interrupted the play, or I think the play's made by either Eric Cole or Gates.
That's Cole's ball all day long.
Yeah, it was. But Carson was doing all he knew how to do was go 7,000 miles an hour, bleeding Razorback red the whole way. So that's my guy.
Last question from Mr. Jeremy Wilmoth. If you could own one vehicle of your choice, what are you rolling in?
Oh.
Let's go, Eric.
Are you going to start with me?
Yeah.
It's simple for me. That's super easy for me. It's a Jeep all day, every day.
Out of all the vehicles in the world, a Jeep?
Just give me a Jeep. I want one with a really cool, fancy new top that are electric, where you don't have to take 12 hours to get your top off the Jeep anymore.
Jeremy's selling one, right?
Yes, I know. I've looked at it like 14 times. I miss my Jeep. I love Jeeps, dude. Those are me, man. So,
Chris?
I'm gonna have to go with a brand new GMC 4-door Denali pickup. Just a new truck. I just want a new truck. I'll be happy with a new truck.
I'm gonna go with the Ram TRX because you get the best of both worlds. You get the a truck, plenty of room, off road, and you get the performance of a 392 Challenger or Charger. It'll do 0 to 60. It's got the Hellcat motor and it'll do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds because you'll have it in 4-wheel drive, so all 4 tires are turning. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But there's no way in this lifetime would I spend $110,000 on a pickup. That's just stupid. If you own one out there, I'm sorry. And happy that you own it, but I just couldn't do it.
You're going to say a 1990 Chevy Beretta.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Hey, man, we loved our little basic entry-level cars. We had no clue we were driving junkers.
Dude, you had that thing. That thing was awesome. It always was. So
it was clean, but, it's looking back, it's kind of hilarious. It had plastic hubcaps with plastic screws holding them in. It was a base model. But we didn't know any better. We thought it was awesome.
It was awesome. Anyway.
I'd also be fine with a little 2-door or knock-around Jeep, maybe early 2000s model, just to go to the woods, not be afraid to get scratched up.
Yeah.
Give Jeremy a call. He's selling it.
A 2-door?
No, it's a 4-door. Sweet, too, dude.
Yeah, looks good.
Last but not least, a question from Miss Abby Grace Duval herself. That's Mr. Eric Duval's daughter. If you guys didn't know, shout out Abby. We love you.
That's right, Miss Abby.
Hers might be the toughest question of all. She asked, if you could pick only one Razorback sport to watch and follow for the rest of your life, what would that sport be? And I'm not even going to pick who wants to go first. Just if you got an answer,
I got you.
Go for it.
Football. It's not even close. Not
Why?
Even close. I think the environment when you go to the games, there's fewer games. Like you don't have 175 games like you do in baseball. You've got very few. You get one a week. You're not playing doubleheaders, 3 games in 3 days. You get one a week. All your preparation goes into that, and just the atmosphere. I can relate more to football. I love watching the game. I don't know. I think it's also that emotional connection when you're younger. Just for me, has always been football.
Eric?
Well, it's not going to be the answer that everybody thinks. I know Abby Grace is probably going to think this, and I think you guys, and probably everybody knows me, thinks I'm going to say baseball. But that's not it. It's football. For a lot of the reasons that Mike said, as far as the games themselves go, I love the game of baseball more than I do football. But it's the game itself, I'm not everything that goes around it, though. Everything that goes with football, the pageantry, the passion. Again, there's only 12 games a year, 13 games a year. The environment around it, all of that coupled with the fact that, my dad bled Razorback red. That's where I got all this from. My love of the Razorbacks and my love for football and baseball, but for football was from my dad. So that it's just special to me. Now, is it pure torture? Yes.
Absolutely.
Every season. Mike, Chris, we've suffered together so many times over the years, and we're going to continue to suffer going forward.
For the foreseeable future.
I just hope we can go to a bowl game this year. Can we go to a bowl game? If we go to a bowl game, I'm happy.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, you can ask the Hogs by 90 squad and Fletcher and Tracy. I'm talking to y'all. I talked both you fools into thinking we were gonna beat Ole Miss. We get in the truck that morning, and all of them guys were.
Hey, you didn't do that alone, sir.
Gonna get killed. By the time we pulled into Oxford, they'd both changed their pick because of me. They changed their. I talked them into it.
You didn't do that alone, sir.
Well, I had help. That's right, sir. Yeah, I had help from Chris Boren, sir. But yeah, it's football, man. It's got my heart. Well, I'll say this: Arkansas Razorback football has my heart. I could care less about the NFL. I mean, I watch it and enjoy it, but I don't get emotionally involved like I do with the Razorbacks. So it's Razorback football. As much as I would hate to give up, because that's part of her question. She said, "What, not just why, pick one, but you had to give the others up. You could only follow one forever." So it's football.
I'm going Razorback baseball. I'm glad we don't have to give it all up because I love football. I love basketball. They would all be tough. But man, I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. And I love Razorback baseball. I love everything about it. I love our coach. I love our mentality. I love the kids he brings on campus. You guys know we talked about that. I'm not going to go into that on here, but the kids we got on campus year in and year out are dudes. They're good kids. They want to play baseball. They work hard, and we're good year in and year out, and we have a chance to win it all the time. And I might cry if I couldn't watch Razorback baseball anymore.
Oh, I would too.
But the fun thing is we don't have to choose because, and even basketball, man, dude, Bud Walton Arena, jam-packed to the gills, place going nuts. Why would we have to give that up? What?
Yeah.
I'm just happy that
it's my dad's fault.
We don't have to give anything up, and there's nothing like going to a Razorback football game. I've sit in there when there's 2,000 people in the stands, seems like, freezing cold. Brett Bielema's last game, and I love it. I do. I love it. I love Razorback football. I love Razorback basketball. Anything Razorbacks, sign me up.
That's right. Me and Mike, I remember sitting in the stands with Mike many times over the years. One particular one stands out, the Alabama game we went to that year. That was the Sunburn game, Mike. But we fought. We had no business playing against Alabama. Remember that, Mike?
Yep.
We fought. We lost, of course, but we fought. And I wouldn't trade those memories for nothing, man.
Dude, the Sugar Bowl, you're playing blue blood. I say blue blood, whatever you call the football equivalent of a blue blood.
College football royalty.
Yeah, royalty, Ohio State. And, man, we're playing with going toe-to-toe. And then Ryan Mallett steps back. They drop a linebacker or a defensive end into coverage. They had done that the whole game. Grabs a pick, and that flipped the game, man. But we were so close to winning. That was just a great memory. Then beating Texas at the Houston Bowl, we thought Brett Bielema had arrived. Yep. Little did we know we were in for heartache. But, man, we thought for a minute we were getting ready to roll.
Yep.
Whipping Texas.
That Ohio State game. Before Mallett threw that pick, though, we blocked the punt, and if we just scoop and score.
No, dude.
All dude had to do was pick the ball. I love you, man. Was that Devontae Herndon? Was that?
Yep.
Was that who that was? I love that dude. But just scoop and score. And we win the ball game.
Baby. That's our heartbreak luck, man.
This is where all this PTSD comes from.
All right.
Let me tell you this real quick. Where my PTSD began. It's from my dad. Again, why I love football. I remember my dad took me to so many games, but we went to a game in the Rock one time against Texas. And it was late in the season, I think. And we wound up sitting up near the student section. And Texas throws a pass with, like, I swear, in my mind, I'm thinking like 1 or 2 seconds left on the clock. They throw it into the end zone. And everybody converges at the same moment, and you can't see if anybody caught it. Okay? Texas is down, but if they score, they win. with no time on the clock. And there's this huge pile of bodies. And my dad's got a hold of my shoulders. And they just start peeling the bodies off the pile. And they get to the bottom of the pile, and the Texas dude's got it in his hands. Touchdown, Texas. The Longhorns, as always, found a way to beat us. So, I mean, I'm getting
we need therapy. I mean,
yeah. And then there was a year.
There were so many other heartbreak stories like that.
Yeah. I think it was like 85 or 86, somewhere, that my dad took me to a game in Fayetteville against Texas where we didn't allow Texas to score a freaking touchdown. But we gave up 5 field goals. And we lose 15-13.
Oh, good Lord.
And we missed like 4 field goals that day. Dude, it's why does Texas? Why? Why? That's what. Yeah. Ugh. You remember Matt Jones against Texas, and we're driving? It was 2000 and
at Texas or at Fayetteville?
In Fayetteville. Remember, he fumbled. Matt Jones fumbled. Driving. All we had to do was kick a field goal. We were going to win it, but Matt Jones fumbled, dude.
And this was this after or before when we went to Texas with Matt Jones and whipped their butts?
I want to say that was the year before.
Yeah, we just walked into their stadium and stopped.
Now, Matt went off, dude.
He did.
Remember when he scrambled back and then he scores? He goes on like some 50-yard run, and as he crosses the goal line and he's dropping the football, there's a picture of it.
Yeah,
him doing that as he's dropping.
Was that at Texas?
Yes,
was that at Texas?
Yes.
I thought so. I wasn't for sure.
I think that was 03. Cobbs was still there.
Yep.
Cobbs had a big run.
Cedric Cobbs.
Yep, I saw us beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl on Y2K. I was in the stadium when we just destroyed them. That was Major Applewhite.
Oh, Applesack.
Yeah, Major Applewhite. And we hurt him. He got hurt. And then the other kid, famous quarterback, his dad's Sims. Chris Sims.
Yeah. He was such an underperformer.
Yeah, we destroyed that. We had like 9 sacks. Yeah, that was beautiful. And then, of course, a couple years ago, just destroying Texas in Fayetteville. Man, what an atmosphere that was.
That was awesome.
Yeah. God, I hate Texas.
I do too.
Hate them.
Yeah,
hate them
too.
Man, thanks for everybody that submitted a question. I hope all our audience enjoyed this episode. Remember to give us a follow on YouTube. Give us a review on Apple and Spotify. It will help us out greatly. We love y'all. Keep fighting a good fight.
Thank you for listening to the Life After Sunday podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a like and a comment, and go follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. And as always, keep fighting the good fight.